Humans aren't some special species that dropped from the sky. We're the lucky ones who gradually evolved from countless ancient life forms, step by step. Every human species is fascinating, but behind them lies an even longer, more mysterious evolutionary journey. To truly understand who we are, we have to look at fossils far older than the genus Homo, records that trace back to the unbelievable origins of life. First, we need to start with the origin of primates. Primates first appeared at the end of the Cretaceous, around 63 to 74 million years ago. Some studies suggest a more recent date, but that's not the point. The key is what made primates different from their contemporaries, what set them apart. Primates evolved relatively large brains, flexible eyes, grasping hands, opposable thumbs, and fingers with nails instead of claws. Many animals have one or two of these traits, but combining them all is the secret to primates' success. Primates survived the Cretaceous-Paleogene mass extinction and diversified throughout the Cenozoic era. Their evolutionary paths gradually split, one branch becoming the higher primates, including monkeys and apes, which diverged around 40 million years ago. Next, these higher primates split into New World monkeys, Old World monkeys, and apes. Apes diverged from Old World monkeys around 25 million years ago. They differed from their monkey cousins in many ways. 5 cusps on lower jaw teeth, 4 on the upper, fully rotatable shoulders, wider, shallower chest cavities, and they completely lost their external tails. Apes were generally larger than monkeys and evolved more diverse ecological roles, occupying a wider range of habitats. The first to break away from the ape family were the gibbons, around 18 million years ago, going their own way. Their evolutionary path kind of went back to the monkey playbook: small bodies, long limbs. Our branch, though, the hominid family, often called great apes or the family Hominidae, evolved larger bodies. Orangutans split off around 14 million years ago from the hominid line. They stayed mostly in the trees, while our branch started spending more time on the ground, especially in Africa. Gorillas branched off from us around 8.8 million years ago, taking the path of large grass-eating herbivores, developing massive digestive systems to handle huge amounts of low-nutrient leaves and plants. Our branch, meanwhile, still spent time in trees but leaned more toward high-energy foods, fruits, nuts, and seeds. Then came the big split between us and chimpanzees and bonobos. A lot of people think we evolved from chimpanzees. We didn't. We're siblings, not parent and child. We both evolved from a common ancestor, and chimpanzees have gone through their own significant evolution over the past few million years. The last common ancestor of humans and chimpanzees probably lived in Central Africa. The timing of the split varies widely in estimates. Molecular evidence suggests 4 to 8 million years ago. Some say 6 to 7 million. Others even push it back to 13 million. In short, the big split may have begun as early as 10 million years ago, but gene flow between populations makes the exact timing hard to pin down. We do have some fossils that might represent this common ancestor, but confirming them is tough. For example, a 9.9 million-year-old fossil found in Canada is thought by some to be an ancestor of both humans and chimpanzees. But in Greece and Turkey, fossils from 9.6 to 7.4 million years ago have also been proposed as possible candidates for that key ancestor, known as Ardipithecus. These finds have led some to support a European origin theory. A European origin is possible, but Ardipithecus seems more closely related to orangutans than to chimpanzees or humans. So, therefore, our last common ancestor with chimpanzees most likely still came from Africa. But no matter where that ancestor lived, what matters more is what happened after it gave rise to the ancestors of chimpanzees, bonobos, and humans and other bipedal relatives. After that, things got interesting. The chimpanzee side ancestors probably stayed in the trees, mastering knuckle walking with ease. Our side, though, started experimenting with walking on 2 legs. They were learning to walk without help, but figuring out whether a fossil belongs to our human line or the chimpanzee line is really tough. Chimpanzee ancestors had thin enamel, large, sharp canines, and standard quadrupedal locomotion. Early human ancestors, on the other hand, had smaller canines, thicker enamel, and skeletal adaptations for bipedalism. Here's the key. Canine teeth are especially important. They signal aggression. Male chimpanzees have large, intimidating canines used in fights for dominance. On our side, canines were smaller and similar in both sexes, suggesting less internal conflict in our groups. The oldest known fossil, possibly on our human lineage, is Sahelanthropus. Scientifically, Sahelanthropus chadensis, found in northern Chad, just lying on the surface. This made accurate dating difficult at first, but later analysis gave a range of 6.8 to 7.2 million years. The find includes a relatively complete skull, jaw, teeth, and limb bones. Small brain, thick brow ridge, but, compared to chimps, smaller canines and a flatter face. Its foramen magnum, the hole at the base of the skull where the spine connects, is more centered than in chimps, suggesting Sahelanthropus stood more upright, more human-like. But its femur has been fiercely debated. A 2020 paper claimed it wasn't suited for bipedalism. Then, in 2022, another paper flipped the script, saying morphologically it likely wasn't a knuckle walker, but was quite comfortable walking on two legs. So, overall, evidence below the pelvis strongly supports habitual bipedalism. But it probably still climbed trees, living a life split between ground and canopy. So, Sahelanthropus may be one of the earliest bipedal apes in our lineage. Quick note, our lineage is called hominidae, and any bipedal ape in this line counts as a hominid, all of them. The genus Homo is just one branch within it. Hominidae also includes all living and extinct great apes. We'd love to say Sahelanthropus is the earliest hominid, but we have to be cautious. It could also be a relative of chimpanzees that just happened to evolve human-like traits independently. Luckily, we have other fossils to help piece it together. Like a fossil from 6.1 to 5.7 million years ago called Auroran, possibly an even earlier hominid. Its teeth were small for its body size, canines reduced, and its femur shows bipedal adaptations, though other parts were still suited for climbing. Some say it's an intermediate between Sahelanthropus and Australopithecus. Others think it's a separate branch. Either way, these fossils give us valuable clues, even if we can't be 100% sure. Next up is a major player, Ardipithecus. Scientists found two species. The older Ardipithecus cadaba, about 5.6 million years old, known only from toe bones and teeth. Its toe bones suggest it walked upright, and its teeth hint it may be ancestral to Ardipithecus ramidus. Ardipithecus ramidus is much better known. We have nearly complete skeletons. Skull, teeth, pelvis, hands, feet, everything. Its hands, feet, and pelvis show it could still climb trees, but was clearly adapted for bipedal walking. Its foramen magnum and pelvis are more walking-oriented than any earlier ancestor. But it definitely still climbed trees, and hadn't fully given up life in the canopy. You might think, doesn't sound that different from the others. But here's what's special. Tiny canines with little difference between males and females. This suggests their social structure wasn't like chimpanzees, where big teeth settled disputes. They were more like early humans. Less violence, more cooperation. Even more interesting, their overall body plan looks more juvenile than older ancestors, like an ape that never fully grew up. This brings us to a key concept, neoteny, or slowed development, staying young longer. This allows animals to retain juvenile traits into adulthood, and this may be the secret that split humans from other apes. If you compare human babies to baby chimps, you might think, not much difference. But as they grow, the changes kick in. Humans stay cute. Chimps become rugged forest dwellers. Human childhood lasts much longer than in chimps, and we keep many juvenile traits as adults. Small face, small nose, round eyes, big head. Sure, chimps aren't that different, but remember, we split 7 million years ago. You can't compare them directly. But Ardipithecus ramidus? Different story. Compared to Sahelanthropus and other early apes, it retained more juvenile features. That's significant. The further along the human lineage, the more species look increasingly baby-faced. Of course, it's not that simple. Evolution isn't just cranking up a cute filter. Anyway, Ardipithecus ramidus is now classified as a hominid and may even be ancestral to Australopithecus. But it only predates Australopithecus by a few 100,000 years, so it could just be a close cousin. Both Ardipithecus ramidus and Australopithecus may descend from an earlier ancestor like Ardipithecus cadaba, or even Sahelanthropus. In other words, human ancestors were playing a game of ape tag. Sahelanthropus to Ardipithecus, Ardipithecus to Australopithecus, Australopithecus to us. The evidence isn't ironclad, but the timeline fits. If not, we can at least say by the late Miocene to early Pliocene, hominid ancestors were adapting to life on the ground. The oldest Australopithecus appears over 4 million years ago. Then they spread across Africa, branching into different species. Our genus, Homo, emerged from one of these branches around 3 million years ago. Scientists still don't agree which Australopithecus we came from. That debate will likely continue for years. But one thing is clear. Australopithecus was the first to truly live the human way, walking on 2 legs, sometimes climbing trees, shifting from tree dwellers to open country walkers. Some species survived for millions of years, and we're still here today, because we are their descendants. The story of human evolution is far from fully understood. We've come a long way, but the story is still unfolding. New discoveries will keep challenging what we think we know. Thanks for sticking with me through this quick dive into our ancient past.